Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you had a good Easter weekend. We're going to get back at it this week in Sidekick Traders. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can come and join us. It's a 3-day free trial and then just $37 a month. So pretty competitively priced, and I wanted to go through a couple of trades today. Last week was really quite boring. I think a lot of these scalps are usually doing really well, but last week was a little bit more tricky. So I wanted to pick out just kind of give you an overview and then show you the best trade I did last week from Sir Goldman in Sidekick. And I think it's important before we get started to point out that we don't just do these scalps. There's a couple of guys in here who help people try to learn how to do these scalps better, so it's not just an alert service. We're trying to focus more on like the education part of it, show you how we do it, give you some ideas about how you can use prop firms to do these trades, and how to maximize your results, because a lot of people come into this and they see these big gains that I'm making with these videos and then they're like, oh, this is hard. It is hard, and it's something that you need to practice and paper trade on to start with and then really get the hang of. So there's a lot more to it than just following alerts, and I think that's something that a community like ours is going to help you with if you're deciding to do this type of trading. The beautiful thing about this trading is it takes 10 minutes a day. Typically that's all I'm spending, and as long as I keep alert for these things coming out, I can usually make $500 to a couple $1,000s a day. If I'm quick, if I'm careful, if I use large position sizes. It's taken me a lot of practice to get to this point, but it's worth it because nothing is more rewarding, right, than just trading for 10 minutes a day and making hundreds and hundreds of dollars, if not more, depending on your position size. But it doesn't come easy, nothing in life does. But that's why we're here, right? So Lance is helping out with strategy guides for Goldman. So a lot of people are frustrated. I saw somebody actually call Goldman out this week saying, hey, I don't really believe you're doing this. Your scales are too perfect. Let me see your entries and exits. And so what Lance and I are trying to do is show our entries and exits, and I'm going to show you that in this video. So you can see that this is a replicable strategy. I understand. I had the same problem when I first came across this guy. I thought he was maybe full of it as well, because he is really good at timing the bombs and scaling out properly, and it's a skill, and he's done it for years and he's really, really good at it, and that makes it come across almost like a scam sometimes. But my experience from this is I really doubted this guy when I first met him, really practiced it, and now I can do it in a similar way to him. I still have a lot of things to do in terms of being able to hold these longer, but I've made up a way to do it for myself that works efficiently and makes me money. So I totally, if you're having problems with this, reach out to Lance, Investing Teacher right here, reach out to me, reach out to the other guys that are having success with this strategy, and we can try and help you through it. So Investing Teacher or Lance, he's actually really good at this. So he just posted this about how to do the OCO orders. I don't do OCO orders. We all have different ways of doing it, and this can help you. We talk about how to watch the technicals that Goldman uses so that you know what's coming. We talk about how to set your expectations for when a trade's going to come. Often in the channel here, you can get rid of this stuff. Let's get rid of that. Often he'll say early on. So here's a little tip before we get into the details. So keep watching. I'm going to show you this awesome trade where I made $2,500 in 7 minutes. But just keep watching here, because if you're in the service or you're thinking about joining, this is probably pretty key. So when he says something here like watching EMA 9 EMA for puts, you can pull up your Webull chart and we can show you how to do that. And basically you can watch this so that you know when he's about to alert. And you can look for just follow his strategy. He even has a course. He sells it for a ridiculously low $100. And so you can do the course and you can wait for these alerts and you know what he's about to do. And so as long as you get an alert from the channel, we can also help you do that. You know that this alert's coming and you know what contracts he's likely to take, because there's certain contracts that he always goes for, and it's not that hard to guess. Also, you don't actually have to be taking the exact same contracts. You can take contracts that are 1 strike off or 2 strikes off. It's not going to matter a huge amount for most strategies that he's doing. So there's a lot of tips and tricks. We're trying to build this server around guiding you how to trade these most efficiently, and also just helping people not give up, right? Because a lot of people will be like, oh, this guy is cheating or something. And I promise you, from my experience, this guy is totally legit and is one of the best scalping traders out there. With practice, you can definitely replicate, or similar, get close to his results at least. It's difficult to do better than him. He's so good at timing this, but yeah, anyway, this week was all like small winners, like plus 10%, minus 8% was this one, it looks like. So it wasn't a great week, but there was one trade that I got into and I was really happy with, which I want to talk through a little bit just now. So it was on the 5th, so 4 days ago, and it was SPX 4085 calls at 2.5. Now, most of the time, this thing gets away from you, right? Like, if you've tried these alerts, you probably get frustrated that you're always chasing 5%, 10%. And this one was really great because it actually went down for 2 or 3 minutes, allowing me to get in at a lower price. I didn't even get the lowest possible price. It dipped down to 195 and missed that. But I got in at 220 3 or 4 minutes later, and it popped and it kept going and it was fantastic. So let me show you the chart right here. So this was the time he alerted right here, 11:58. It dipped, so he was buying calls, and it dipped for three and a bit minutes, and then it took off and ran. And so I was able to get in on the dip, actually, kind of as it's coming back up here. But some people were able to get in on this dip. So they don't always take off immediately. Most of the time they do though, so most of the time I'm okay chasing by 5% or 10%. In this case, I got 5% or 10% lower than his actual price, so that was really cool. I love it when that happens, it's really good. And so within 5 minutes, 7 minutes, it already popped 32% for him. And then it ran, and he just kept slowly scaling out. One thing to note here is he uses between 15 to 20 contracts, so he's scaling out. And this is a question I keep getting from people is, when do I scale out? Well, if you watch him, he usually takes it every 20%, right? So he takes half off at 20% or 40%. 40% of his position gets sold at 20% profits. And then he just scales out, so next 20% up. So when he's at 44%, he'll take another lump off. And that continues, and that way he's able to get all the way up to like 200%. So you got out at 7.6. So that's a massive gain. And that was at 1:50 my time, which is way over here somewhere. Yeah, look at this. It just kept going. So he sold up here somewhere, all the way from, let's go back here, down there. So that's how patient this guy was. He held through all this, and he could do that because he trimmed up here, he held it and just kept going up. So it was a 200% winner for him. It was nothing like that for me. I got out way too early as usual. But all it took was that one trade. I made $100 here and there on the other trades this week, lost 100 on one of them, and then this one, and this is why you've got to try and take every trade with these services, right? Because even though this guy hits 90% winners, you might miss some, you might chase some, you might get stopped out. And there's a lot of tips and tricks that we can give you in the Discord as well, so make sure you come and join it if you're thinking about doing this style of trading. So that's kind of where we're going with that. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to show you the... People seem to be getting all skeptical about this, but it's definitely a legitimate service. So what I did is I recorded my screen, so you can see on the right here, $2,500 profit on these 4085 calls, 5th of April. And then I recorded every order as well, because somebody was asking Goldman for his orders. He didn't really believe he was taking these trades. And so here we go. These were 1203. I exited at 1205 and 1207. So that was really fast. If I'd held these, I would have made a lot of money. A lot of money. But unfortunately it didn't. I'm happy with it though. I think you get a little piece of the pie. I wish I could hold these things a bit longer, but as soon as I start doing that, they immediately tank. So I've kind of come up with my own way of trading these, my own risk tolerance, and I really encourage you to start doing that yourself. If you want to scale out at 10% or 20%, just take all the profits. That's fine too. You'll probably win more. You'll protect your downside. You might want to size up a little bit so the 10% is more money. But just do what's comfortable with you. One tip I have is, usually if you want to, like, here's the problem. Like, a lot of people, they'll choose one strategy, and as soon as they can't make it, a week will go by, and as soon as they're not making money, like maybe they're stopping out because these things are moving so fast and they can't get in them, they get frustrated, and within a week or two, they just give up and move on to the next best thing. The problem is that's a losing strategy overall, because you're basically giving up when the going's bad, and then you miss all the stuff that works. So be careful about strategy hopping. It's something I see a lot of. I was a victim to it quite a bit in my early trading days as well. So I think it's worth like focusing on this. If this fits your style and you're able to at least do it somewhat, then refine it, see how you can get the alerts faster. Make sure you've got Discord set up properly. Learn what you're comfortable with, like what position size, how you're going to scale out. You don't have to follow Goldman exactly. And I think once you do that, get into the swing of it. If you just focus on one strategy, in this case this strategy, you can find yourself trading 10 minutes a day and making more money than if you're jumping from strategy to strategy to strategy. So hopefully that's helpful. I think a lot of people would benefit from, just kind of keeping more focused on these things. And then come in, we have his strategy as well in here. And like I said, he has a course that goes into all the details about this. So you can message him and get his course. He also contributes a lot to the chat. So people are asking Goldman all these questions about what he's doing. It's very helpful and I'm glad he's doing it. Additionally, in the Discord, Lance has also learned the strategy pretty well that Goldman's using. And Lance is a little bit more conservative. So he'll take the strategy, he'll apply it to other tickers. He'll do some futures calls as well, like this one. And so if you're looking for a mixture of learning and changing up a little bit, Lance, or Investing Teacher, as his name is on here, he'll help you with that kind of stuff. And he's always posting interesting things like how he does some other styles of trading and things. So there's also some long-term investing stuff in here as well, which people are contributing to a lot. So pretty good. All right, well, hopefully that's helpful. I encourage you to come and join. There'll be a link in the description below. We're not going to keep the price as it is for that much longer. We just wanted to get a lot of people in. We want to keep the community fairly exclusive though, so we're definitely going to be increasing our price slowly. We already put up like 50% over the last few weeks. The Discord's become super popular. We've had doubled the number of people in here in the last month, so pretty exciting stuff. All right, guys, hopefully that helps, and I'll talk to you soon.